I don't know what it is, bro. I'm happy. I got people that love me. I got people that love me surrounding me. These motherfuckers all care about me. I'm happy for that. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad. I'm glad. If I go out, then we do it the way that we need to.
Oh man, I'm not gonna be good at this. This is gonna fuck me up. I really don't know how to do this type of video. I've been kind of fighting myself for the past couple days, trying to come up with something to say, but I felt like it was kind of necessary for me to talk about this because I never really talked about it when it happened. 1 year ago today, we lost someone who was extremely special to us, to me, to my team, to just everybody. And that person was Desmond or Etika, for who everybody knows. If you don't know, Des and I were pretty close. I met Des at the Nintendo Switch launch in New York City on March 3rd, 2017. It was the first event that we were invited by Nintendo to cover, and I was super excited. I really didn't know that many YouTubers or content creators that were a part of this. So seeing Des, I was just like, oh, it's just a regular guy, and started talking to him, and he was like, oh, you're going in? I'm like, yeah, I get to go in before the midnight launch and capture everyone coming in, capture C&D going in, whoever else, you. And he was like, yo, could you get me in? And I was like, sure. Why not? I knew that he was somebody and he was shooting video, and I was like, screw it, let's do it. From there, we went into the launch, and I did a little interview with him. And that was the first interaction that we actually had, was that interview talking about the Switch and how excited he was for a system like that. And if you don't know, Des was a major component in the build up to the Switch. He had that fake Switch built. He made the NX, like a physical model. And it was really interesting seeing someone like him talk about that and react to that. And from there, I started learning more about him, who he was. We weren't really friends yet, but in time, we kind of grew a little closer. And then eventually, maybe like a year later, we were hanging out. I would go to his place. He would come to the studio. We'd chill. And it was nice. It was nice to see Desmond, not really Etika. We started to make more content. We started to grow a little bit, and Des was kind of there a long time, and he was there throughout that growth, and he even helped us with our growth. We did a live stream with him. He shared our stuff. He was in a few of our videos. It was nice, and there was never anything about clout or gaining new subscribers on YouTube. It was never about that. It was just, I like this dude. He's a cool dude. Let's hang out more. Let's do stuff together. Fast forward even more, Des is hitting me up. Hey, E, can we hang out? I'm like, yeah, man, totally. Let's do it. Come to the studio. We'd hang out. We'd get some food, maybe watch some movies, just kind of vibe. And then he ended up getting his new apartment in downtown Brooklyn, and I went there the first day he did, and I checked it out with him. And it was cool seeing how excited he was to be progressing and doing new things and becoming who he was. We were supposed to go to TwitchCon together in 2018. And there was things that happened, and he ended up canceling on me the night of, and it was interesting because I wasn't sure what was going on. And when I was at TwitchCon, there were so many people asking me if he was okay. And I said, he's probably just dealing with some stuff. Like, that's, it's Des. He's just a sporadic person like that. So I really didn't think anything of it. Then there were new things that were coming out while I was at TwitchCon. Certain people were talking about him, and I was confused as to what was going on, trying to hit him up, trying to hit his friends up, seeing if they knew what was going on, and no one really knew. From there, it was, kind of weird. Des was still hanging out and we were good. But then closer to the middle of last year, you start to see certain things happen and he would act certain ways, and I was there for a lot of it. And I didn't really know what was going on, and when I tried to talk to him about it, he really didn't respond to that. So, a lot of people think, is this a publicity thing? Is he trying to just blow up? Is he trying to become the next big thing? But in reality, he had problems. People say he was sick. I think he had a lot of things going on that we never really knew about, that he never really talked about. But, I kind of wish that I was there for him more. And I wasn't, and it really sucked to see him kind of it really sucked to see what was going on with him, and you had no real understanding as to why. I remember seeing him the week before everything happened, and he just seemed like he was hurting, and I really didn't know how to talk to him about it. And he left his phone in my car one night, and I went to go bring it to him, and just that experience of me being in his apartment, and it was just very weird how he was acting, and he just wasn't himself. And I tried to ask him, dude, what's wrong? And he just wouldn't tell me. And then, fast forward a week later to why I'm making this video, and I get a phone call at midnight after watching the video he put up, and I was dropping Brady off, and she called me as I was dropping him off, and we just decided, let's go there. We went, the cops were there, I went to his apartment, he wasn't there. I didn't really know what was going on, and it was scary because no one really knew. I had certain info, I had his mom's number, I had a few other people's phone numbers, and I gave them to the cops. I was like, here, contact these people, maybe they know, I'm not sure. Not really knowing what's going on, and us trying to figure out if he's just, not here, if he left, if he just is gonna come back, and he didn't for a week. When I think about these things, it makes me think of when Des was there for me, when I was dealing with a lot. I had gone through a really bad breakup, and when Des asked about it, I told him, and he was heartbroken. And that really showed me that he really cared, and I cared about him too. Just, you never know when something like that's gonna happen. You can't tell, and as much as you wish you could have been there, there's things that we don't understand why certain people do certain things. Des was an amazing person. He was larger than life. He was the exact friend you wanted. Goddamn fucking planes, man. And I know everybody knew that. He was extremely caring. He knew what he wanted to do. He had a goal. He was a successful content creator, and he was just a kind soul. I never met anybody like that before. And he gave me a lot of reason to do YouTube because he was so into it and so energetic about it that it just made me want to make videos too. And you know, when the news came out, there were reporters hitting me up and asking me for interviews. There were people asking me for comments on it. I didn't know what to say. And there was one international report that I had done, and they had asked, like, as a fan, why do you think he did something like this? And I told them, I was like, I wasn't a fan. I was a friend. I didn't refer to him as Etika. I referred to him as Des, which a lot of his friends did. And we were there for each other. If we needed anything, if we had questions, if we just wanted to talk, that's what it was. I'd call him up and we'd talk about all the crazy shit that we've done, the parties that we've gone to, the people that we met, the things that you never got to see, I saw with him. And there's that clip that I share every so often. We were at a party in Manhattan, and he said, these people love me. These people around me, they love me. And it was true. They looked up to him. I looked up to him, not just because he was taller than me, but I really looked up to him. He was a great guy. It's just one of those situations when someone that you care about is taken away when you least expect it. There's a lot of people who bring his name up, mostly for good, sometimes not. And, you know, when you think about it, that's something that he probably wanted, because he wanted to become infamous, not just famous. He wanted to be known throughout YouTube. And when all that happened last year, he was the main conversation for a long time. He still is. People still talk to him. The mural's still up. I just went over there. And you really think about what he did on this platform and in general, how he sparked a conversation for mental health. Given the circumstances, yeah, obviously we didn't want this to happen. We didn't think it was real until it was confirmed, but he still sparked that conversation. And I have a lot of friends that are in the YouTube community, a lot of them that have, like, they're depressed and they have their own problems that they deal with, but we're all kind of there for each other no matter what. I've been in rooms where certain people are crying and they don't know how to deal with certain things, and we're all kind of just there for each other. And, you know, I wish that I could have done something more, but you can't think about that now. Now we have to just think about the good and who he was and why we loved him, because a lot of people loved him. He was an amazing person. And it blows my mind that it's already been a year. His birthday is a week before mine. And we always like kind of celebrate our birthday together. It was, you know, on his birthday this year, I really thought about it. And, you know, I didn't really talk to anybody about it, but it made me think of like what we could have been doing for his birthday, for my birthday. You know, we have this quarantine, but we still would have done something. Would have went to the studio, maybe had a little party with a couple people, nothing crazy. But, you know, he was always the life of the party, so why not? There's just so many things that you don't even know how to put into words about a person. He was great. Everything about him was just fantastic. And despite flaws or problems, he was still there for you. I didn't go to that mural for a couple months because I just didn't know how I felt about it. And I wasn't really a part of the creation of it, but I was talking to the people that were, and Abe, he was the one that really got all that together. And it was a great thing. It was an amazing thing. That store, we started that store together, then Abe took full control of it. And all the money from that store still goes to NAMI. And I'm very thankful for all that stuff. I think the main thing that people should take away from everything that happened is, if you're hurting or if something's wrong, talk about it. If it's more than that, if you're sick and you don't know how to talk about it, then I hope that someone can help you talk about it. You can't control what people do, and you can't influence them to change, but you never know what a few words could do, or a text. I hope that Des's family is doing okay. This is still probably tremendously hard on them, especially since Des's older brother died years before. So I could only imagine how his mom must feel every day. His cousins, his friends. I just hope everyone's doing okay. And I hope that if you do have any urges, that you call the recommended phone numbers that can help you. And I'll put those in the description too, because I want this to be more of a mental health awareness than anything else. It's a memorial because we will always remember him. But love you, Des. It's good. It's a good time. I think the message that I'd probably take away from this is there's help out there for people who need it. And if you feel like something is inside and hurting you, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you can, talk to the people that care about you, because that might change your outlook on things. Just remember what he said. Remember his outro for every video he did. Have yourselves a damn good one. I love you, Des. Miss you every day.